guys, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. In this video, we will be looking into a current affair topic, Trump's oil deal with Pakistan. So we will be observing, is there a shift in the foreign policy of US with regarding to your South Asia? First and foremost, the topics that we will be discussing from this current affair topic is, we will be seeing what is the oil deal, what is Pakistan's diplomatic shift, how is US reciprocating that shift. We will also be seeing how it is an implication for India, what challenges lie ahead, and how can India navigate this course of action. This is all we will be speaking from your US trying to attack India with additional tariffs. Understanding? What is the relevance of this topic to your UPSC GS paper 2 with regarding to India neighborhood relationship and also the developed countries policies and how it affects developing nations and least developed countries? We can also see what are its impacts on India's interests. First and foremost, what is the diplomatic shift that we are seeing from your USA to your Pakistan? First and foremost, Trump has announced in his social media that they are very close to signing off an oil deal with Pakistan and they are just looking for companies which will be able to take this vision forward. The oil deal of Pakistan, when we tell, it is trying to tap the huge potential in the coasts of Pakistan. Next thing is, your US president praises Pakistan's military and its efforts. And at the same point of time, now we may consider, yes, now US is trying to talk or it is trying to align with Pakistan. But on the similar lines, on the very same background, US is slapping sanctions in the name of tariffs on India for 25% plus an additional Russian penalty. What is this plus Russian penalty? He has claimed that for long India has always been a protectionist country and any trade with US has always been in India's best interest, apparently according to Donald Trump. And also India makes sure it has purchased or it is one of the largest purchasers of energy, arms, etc. from your Russia next to your China. Understanding? Now he claims that in order to stop the Russia-Ukraine war, he has started with the secondary tariffs. And he is going to hit the secondary tariffs on countries which are doing business with Russia in order to end or broker a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine. What is, now if we consider, was always US President Donald Trump and Pakistan on a more of a good side? This is where we see a diplomatic U-turn. In 2018, when Trump came to power, he criticized Pakistan by telling that they have fed nothing but lies and deceit, and he was more towards anti-Pakistan rhetoric. But the stance was very soon changed in his second term, wherein he has brought in a renewed engagement, has started a transactional diplomacy. What is transactional diplomacy? I want this in this particular area. So I will give you this, which in turn you have to support me. Understanding? So when one thing with respect to your transactional diplomacy is, this is very short term. It is not long, it is not sustained. And with respect to USA, if you see presently, it wants to do the dual role of both a hegemon as well as a transactional diplomacy. Only short-term needs are met. Then in the long term, it will be discarded. So this is where the saying comes, where it is difficult to be US enemy, but it is even more difficult to be US's friend. Understanding? Now if you say, okay, is it Trump like this? The in-between, that is, between Trump's first term and second term, we had Joe Biden, who's from a Democrat. What were their policies towards Pakistan? They were more of diplomatic cold shoulder towards Pakistan. They also had very limited engagement. Understanding? US President Joe Biden didn't even want to call up your Pakistan Prime Minister. Understanding? So this is a diplomatic U-turn that we see with respect to your Trump policies with regarding to Pakistan. Now the alleged oil deal which is going to be coming forward, which has been a major, let's say, the reason I'm telling major is because of its implications. The majority of this deal lies in the fact of joint development and trying to tap in to the potential oil reserves which are found on the coast of your Pakistan. And now they are telling the only stage that is pending now is they want to pick the company which will take this ideology forward. Understanding? So, how or what implications it will have in respect to energy diplomacy? So, a new partner will open up with respect to oil and energy. Economic foothold will be further strengthened. So, because they are telling it as a joint development, which means US will try to safeguard its investment. Yes, so which means it will try to safeguard Pakistan. Then is resource geopolitics. Understanding US tries to secure its strategic interests, be it with respect to geopolitical or with respect to resources or economic foothold. Understanding? So your Pakistan is now trying to move towards your US side also. Now, when it will try to move towards US side also, which means Pakistan is still strategically maintaining its closeness to China also, strategically trying to maintain its closeness to US also. Now, with US, one thing we saw, yes, is one oil deal so important? Yes, this from economic perspective, oil deal is extremely important. But Pakistan is bringing its diplomatic ties also or diplomatic leverage also. How? For example, your Pakistan awarded its highest military order to US CENTCOM chief Michael Kurila. He was awarded in Presidential Palace in Islamabad by Pakistan President Asif Ali Zardari. Why was he given this? Because it said that they are trying to promote peace in the region. This raised the diplomatic ties with Washington. Another thing, if you see, first and foremost, recent events, we have seen a lot of diplomatic engagement that is coming from your US hosting Pakistan Army Chief to a luncheon. Pakistan Army Chief General Asim Munir. This is the first time your US has hosted an Army Chief who is not the head of state. So we don't know what happened behind the closed door, but it was held that Pakistan Chief General Asim Munir has recommended Donald Trump for a Nobel Prize for the contributions of Donald Trump in trying to mediate a ceasefire deal between India and Pakistan. Even though India claims that no other third country brokered a ceasefire between India and Pakistan, Pakistan has still held the same ground. At the same point of time, Air Chief of Pakistan, Zahir Ahmed Babar Sidhu, was also invited. Now he went in with wanting for your military hardware. What are the military hardware that your Pakistan is expecting from your USA? F-16 Block 70s, HIMARS, AIM-7 Sparrow. So these are all the things that they want to procure from your United States. Trump's shift towards cozying up to Pakistan or Pakistan cozying up to USA, fine, but why now exactly? Why the sudden shift? Why it was different in the first term? Why in the second term is different? Simple. For the things that your Pakistan has did, your Pakistan has embraced cryptocurrency, especially in your World Liberty Financial Partnership is established, which is close ties to your Trump's family. And also Pakistan has nominated for Trump for Nobel Prize, citing he was the one who brokered the ceasefire between two nuclear power nations. And another thing is this was more about perception with regard to Operation Sindoor. What US seems to see is apparently Pakistan appears like even though with limited resources it was able to take on more of a bigger task than it was capable of. So this alters the perception. What are the implications for India with this? First and foremost, economic pressure. US President Donald Trump has announced that he will slap 25% tariffs on India and additional levy. This is uncalled of or even unmentioned as to what this is, so how much will it be, but this is because of our Russian relations, oil, energy, arms purchase. Understanding? And another thing is, US always views India as a protectionist, and it has been doing all the deals only which will benefit India. And now for that it decides to put down your tariffs. Strategic concern again, now what India is having to deal with right now is Pakistan is now the closer ally of China and closer ally of USA. Both of them having the back of Pakistan is something that India should look out for, and this will have detrimental effects for India. How should India's strategy be? First and foremost, it should use its advantage in the multilateral forums, that is from both your quad leverage, also diversification moving towards your BRICS, yes, SEO membership. We cannot put all the eggs in one basket and wait for USA to change, even though if we know that it is temporary, because anything if we have seen with respect to US President Donald Trump's diplomatic policies, it is more of a leverage and also engagement in which will, let's say, which will benefit US. But we can't just wait for them to change their policy towards Pakistan. So what we can do? Use our leverage of multilateral forums and also diplomatic engagement with respect to trade negotiations, technology, students, diaspora, right? What are the global and regional reactions? First and foremost, China. China is watching all of this silently, and in the end it will be gaining, because China views India with a distrust of its alignment with Quad. But whereas it knows that Pakistan is on China's side with respect to CPC, China Pakistan Economic Corridor, OBOR, and the huge number of investments that China has done in Pakistan. And with respect to Middle East, if you see, this will also have an oil geopolitical shift with the emergence of new player, that is your Pakistan. US politics, again, see, one thing we can know for sure is permanency is not very certain in this. But at the same point of time, we can't just sit and wait, but diplomatically, we have to stay alert and not react very much as of now. But we have to keep a watch on diplomatic changes. So, this transactional shifts, which are very common in Trump era, India should avoid overreaction and stay diplomatically alert and use its soft power to leverage in trade, technology, values. Understanding? So, this is how your India has to deal with this situation at hand. Now, but let's see a possible mains question from this topic. Discuss how shifts in US-Pakistan relation impacts India's strategic autonomy and regional balance. Okay. So in this mainly you have to speak about strategic autonomy and regional balance, again with respect to China, Pakistan, USA, India, multilateral forums. Okay, how we can use our diplomatic shifts, how are the leverages places that we have. Understanding? So that is how you will have to be dealing with the question. With this, we have come to the end of the content. If you like our content, subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, share it along with your friends. Thank you.